They didn't yell at me. They didn't yell at me. They didn't argue with me. They just stopped including me and thought I wouldn't notice.
This story starts with a quiet ending. They stopped talking to me without ever actually saying we were done. At first, I thought it was just the stress. Weddings, even future ones, have a way of turning houses into pressure cookers. I told myself that patience was just part of being a husband and a father. But that patience slowly turned into my erasure. Conversations continued, but without me. Decisions were made around me, not with me. Laughter happened just out of reach, like I was standing behind a pane of glass. I had spent most of my adult life designing systems meant to survive failure. Backup plans, redundancies, structures that held when the pressure hit. It never occurred to me that the place most likely to collapse would be my own home. My wife, Claire, moved through the days efficiently, distracted but purposeful. My daughter, Lily, barely looked up from her phone anymore. I would come home from work with good news, and it would land like a dropped coin, barely noticed. One evening, I announced I had secured a contract that would set us up comfortably for years. Claire just nodded without looking away from her screen. Lily asked if I could move my bag because it was blocking her light. That was the night I realized I had already been dismissed. I stopped trying after that. Not out of spite, but out of curiosity. I wanted to see how far invisibility went. It turns out very far. Meetings about the wedding happened without me. Expenses appeared that no one bothered to explain. Suggestions I offered were ignored until repeated by someone else. The confirmation came quietly, the way truth often does. Lily left her tablet on the counter while she ran upstairs. A notification lit the screen. My name was in it. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't searching. But once you see your own name followed by laughter, it's hard to look away. They had a group chat. My wife. My daughter. A few friends. I scrolled through messages filled with jokes about me, how I hovered, how I was boring, how I wouldn't last much longer anyway. Claire had replied to one message with, "Just ignore him. He always fades out." That sentence didn't hurt. It clarified. I put the tablet back exactly where it was and walked into the garage. I sat in my car in the dark, breathing slowly, letting the version of myself that still hoped for misunderstanding dissolve. What replaced it was calm, precise, unemotional. I didn't confront them. I didn't demand respect from people who had already decided I didn't deserve it. I planned. Over the next few days, I untangled myself quietly. Accounts were legally separated. Documents were digitized and secured. Access points I'd built over years were removed with the same care I used at work. I packed only what truly mattered. Everything else was just evidence of a life that no longer existed. I left at 4:52 a.m. on a Tuesday. No note, no goodbye. Just my keys on the counter and a cut credit card beside them. I didn't want drama. I wanted absence. They didn't panic. That was the most telling part. Claire told people I needed space. Lily posted smiling photos online. My disappearance was explained away as weakness, stress, something temporary. They were sure I'd come back once I cooled off. I didn't. I rebuilt my life quietly. Different city, smaller place. Clear mornings, I worked, taught, consulted. I spoke at conferences. I slept well. Peace has a way of restoring posture, voice, and confidence. I became someone unrecognizable to the version they thought they'd erased. 3 years passed, then the invitation arrived. Cream paper, formal script, Lily's wedding. At the bottom, handwritten, just one line, "I want you there." I didn't respond right away. When I did, I sent a single condition. No announcement. No warning. I arrive when I'm needed. The day of the wedding, I waited near the side entrance while guests gathered inside. My daughter texted when she was ready. I walked down a hallway lined with staff who didn't know who I was, which felt fitting. When the doors opened and I stepped forward beside Lily, the room inhaled sharply. They hadn't expected me. They had rewritten the story too well. Claire froze near the front, her expression breaking in stages as realization caught up with reality. I didn't look at her. I focused on my daughter, whose grip tightened around my arm. We walked slowly, steadily. I wasn't there to prove anything. I was there because she asked. At the altar, Lily hugged me and whispered thank you. I stepped back into the crowd, took a seat, and watched a chapter close without saying a word. Some people think disappearing is weakness. They don't understand that sometimes leaving quietly is the most controlled move you can make. Because when you return not broken, not bitter, but whole, you don't need revenge. Your presence says everything. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into human resilience.